What is going on, everyone? It's Ultimate Spy 53 here, and welcome to another episode of Reviewed number 162. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the movie Assassin's Creed. What did I think of Assassin's Creed? Well, I think it was really good, actually. Despite what it got on Rotten Tomatoes, which was a whopping 18%, which is ridiculous. I know some of the things that I can see that people were complaining about, but for the most part, I really enjoyed it. I went to the Thursday night preview for this movie back when it came out, and I really enjoyed it. It was different, definitely different from the games, but I've only played like the first game completely. The second game I haven't finished yet. I'm a bit behind on a lot of games out there, but from my perspective of playing some of the games, I do feel there are a lot of similarities with the games and the movie, but the movie is very different. I like the fact that with the movie it has an original concept, original story, original characters, and all that stuff. The original story is set in the Spanish Inquisition in 1492, which is very interesting. I don't think that Assassin's Creed has ever done that in their games. Like, I don't think they've ever gone to Spain and done that kind of era of history before, which is really weird because it's an original concept of this movie. I mean, it is set in the same game world, yes, but it is an original story and with original characters, and the main character is an original character, which I liked a lot. I like the fact that they didn't straight up adapt the first game, because a lot of video games to movies, they just straight up adapt the game, and that's not the best way to do it. Sometimes having an original story is very good. It's kind of like how Tomb Raider, the new one that came out last year, that one, it was based off the game, but they had some changes to it. It was loosely based off the game. So with this one, it's an original concept, original everything like that. And there are some things in this movie that I can see why people would have an issue with. The animus, for example. In the movie, it's a giant mechanical arm, and it's nothing like the game at all. That's probably one of the reasons why people did not like this movie. I, for one, loved it, but the arm is the animus, and it basically grips onto Callum Lynch, who is the main character, instead of Jason Miles in the original game. And it basically syncs up with him, and it basically is the animus. In the game, the animus is basically this table with a holographic curved glass thing. I don't even know how to describe it. That's what I remember of the animus being. It might be different, but and that was what Jason Miles would go into. And in the movie, it's different. It's this giant arm thing, and I think people were really upset about that. Like, oh, that's not the animus at all. It's like, well, I can understand that, but it was a unique and different approach to how they designed the animus. And I think that if they did the original concept where they used the table, I think it would have worked a little more better. But I think it was interesting to see a different kind of concept to what the animus is, because it is the same thing in the movie, but it's just designed differently, which is perfectly okay, because this is not exactly like the games. They're just some minor changes, and that's cool, because having an original concept, again, is very important when you're adapting a movie, because you don't want the movie to be just a splitting image of the game, because it doesn't always work that way. It isn't always the best option, especially for live action, which is what they did. And I don't know, I felt like this movie deserves a lot more than it got. I don't know why people hated it so much. I don't even know what the reviews said about why they hated it. I think that was the only thing that people didn't like about the movie was the animus. But I will say that the fight choreography was really good. I liked that a lot. It was really well done. And just in general, the accuracy to Spanish Inquisition, I felt like it was pretty good, actually, because with Ubisoft, they do a good job with accurately portraying historical events or historical places or whatever, and I think they did a pretty good job of representing what the Spanish Inquisition was like. I don't know what it was like, but I'm just from a reviewer, I feel like it really does work, and I think they nailed it pretty well. So that's just my opinion, but I think that it worked pretty well. I mean, obviously, there's English subtitles when you have someone speaking Spanish, and you can't understand what they're saying. So the fact that they have English subtitles is very, very good, because in the actual plot of the movie, it's being translated to the people in Abstergo. Now, Abstergo is very different from the game. It's same idea, same concept. Test facility for people who need to back them into memories, and basically the first game was just about one character, Desmond Miles. But in the movie, you have all these people in this giant facility, and I don't know how big Abstergo was in the game, but in the movie it's way different. There's always people, and it's a very different design than the game. I mean, obviously because of the original characters, which is very interesting. I like the fact that Cal, for Callum, his name is Callum Lynch in the movie, portrayed by Michael Fassbender, and I thought it was really, really cool how he was in sync perfectly with his ancestor, who was, I think, Aguar, I think that's how you say his name, and just like the games, although not exactly, because the games, it was a synchronization, but in this movie, it was a lot more, there was a lot more going on, because Michael Fassbender, who plays Callum, I felt like he was able to do a lot more with the version of the animus that was used in the movie, like the giant arm thing. And I felt like with the synchronization, it was really good because it kind of showed him fighting everything, and that, like, when you're on a table, you don't really get that experience. You just kind of like you are the character. I feel like that's how it was portrayed in the games. But with the movie, it was different because you actually get to see him like actually fight and move around and all that stuff, which is very, very cool. I liked it a lot. It was a very, very neat concept that they used, a very original concept, and I like the fact that they changed that to kind of give you a perspective of what it's actually like to be the ancestor, because you're going into his memories and you're being the ancestor basically. And one thing that was really crazy about this movie with Callum and Aguar, whatever, his ancestor, and is the fact that he keeps hallucinating him. And I only thought it was just like he was haunting him, but no, it was apparently a hallucination, and it's basically effect called the bleeding effect, and it has to do with the way his images are shown up with aggression, and that's basically what it is. Like it's like he's an aggressive person, so he's gonna hallucinate his ancestor being an aggressive person to him. So it kind of felt like he was haunting him, but in that way, but like it was a different idea. So it was crazy, I think, because it really shows that Callum was very aggressive. So I don't know, it was just crazy to see that, like, he's seeing Aguar over and over again, which is like, wow. And one thing about this movie that I really liked was the fact that the assassins, I mean, there's only 2 assassins in the movie that are actually, active. I mean, in the beginning of the movie there are other assassins, but the main ones are Aguar and the female assassin. I don't think they even give a name to. I don't know who she is, but she's this female assassin who is his partner. I don't know if they're like lovers or something. I think it might be implied that they are, but I couldn't really understand that. I think they're just partners. And outside of the assassins, those 2 assassins, they are like, they protect the innocent. They're obviously good, and that's what the assassins are in the game. I mean, I feel like assassins in the games are more like neutral. They're not good, they're not evil. They're just kind of in between. They serve the light. They work in the darkness, kind of thing like that. They're assassins, and they protect the innocent, which is very good, because like I thought that's a positive thing, that they, their job is to protect people. Unless you're a douche in the game, because you can just murder everyone. But in the movie, it's different. Than the fact that they're actually trying to protect the innocent and kind of like free them essentially, which is very good. I like the fact that they did that. And one thing about this movie that I was really confused about, and actually I think that it might have been an error in the screenplay or whatever, and it was the timeline of the movie's events with the animus. Now, in the early part of the movie, the beginning of the movie, it's set in 1986, and then you fast forward 30 years and it's 2016. Okay, established. And then the animus says it's 1492, that's when the setting of the Spanish Inquisition is taking place. Okay. And then Sophia, who is the doctor who is basically helping Callum, she says that his ancestor has been dead for 500 years. So that means that 1492 plus 500 is 1992 or 1992. So it would be 1992. So would that mean that the present day of the setting of where Abstergo is 1992 or not? Because I don't really understand, because the setting of it is 2016, so I feel like that was an error, because 1492 plus 500 years would be 1992, so that makes no sense. I think I was some kind of error in the timeline of the movie. I don't know what was going on. Some kind of screenplay issue. I feel like that might have been something in the screenplay that was like a little bit of an error there, because that does not add up at all. So, and my absolute favorite line from this movie is, "What the fuck is going on?" So this was said by Michael Fassbender's Cal in the movie, and it was the only F-bomb given because with a PG-13 movie rating, the screenplay writers are only allowed one F-bomb if they want to. Honestly, it doesn't always happen in movies, but they're occasionally it will happen. They'll add an F-bomb and they can only do it once. And I remember in X-Men Apocalypse, Michael Fassbender, who plays Magneto in that movie, same year, just earlier in the year, being a May release, because Assassin's Creed came out in December and X-Men Apocalypse came out in May. And he said, "Who the fuck are you?" And that was meant to be just the one swear word you could do in that movie. And it's hilarious to have that one F-bomb given in the movie, because you can't normally say that unless you like, that's like a given. Like, you can only have one F-bomb, otherwise, if you're not planning on putting a swear word in, you don't do it. But if you are, you can only have one F-bomb. So I felt like it was just hilarious to have that in there, just like, what the fuck is going on? And then go back to that other movie, X-Men Apocalypse, where it's like, "Who the fuck are you?" It's like, it's a great line. It's honestly a great line. Now, one thing I liked a lot about the movie that was really, really interesting and very different from the games, something you could do in the games at all. In the games, it was something like you could go out of the animus and go back and do it, often, but not like as much often as how the movie portrays it. In the movie, there are jump cuts that show Cal using the animus actively, and then showing Anguar, the ancestor of Cal, like showing him, like, it basically showing Cal moving as Anguar using the animus, and like jumping in between cuts of the Spanish Inquisition and the animus. It was really, really cool. It was like the most different thing that I've ever seen. That's like way different from the games. It's just fascinating and so cool. So I like that a lot. Now, one thing about the movie that I was really kind of surprised about, actually, in the movie trailer for Assassin's Creed, the movie, obviously, the Lady of Fate is shown at the very end, and it's from, like, I think it's some kind of like traditional building thing, like in the games, where it's like an eagle eyes point of view. You go to the tower and you jump off, and that was shown in the trailer. Now, in the movie itself, I think it's shown from a different kind of building. So it kind of threw me off because I don't think that was the same building in the trailer. So I don't know what that was about, but like it was misleading or something. But I wasn't really expecting that. I mean, it has, there's like an eagle screech and all that stuff, which is great and was still amazing. But like, I just didn't expect it was like, wait, what? I'm pretty sure that was the wrong like bit of footage. I thought he was on this building, and apparently it's not this building. I don't know, it's weird, but it was still really, really cool, and I love that moment. Now, one thing that was really interesting about the end of the movie is the idea of modern-day assassins in London, obviously, because that's where they are. And I don't know if that's part of the games or not, because I haven't finished all the games. I've only played... Well, I played most of the second game. That's as far as I've gotten, because I just haven't gotten around to finishing it. And so... the end of the movie showed, the modern day assassins with Cal, and then Musa, and then I think the Asian woman, and they're all like, modern day assassins. It's a really, really interesting thing, and it questions whether we're getting a sequel to this one. I have no idea. I think there are talks for a sequel, but I don't know if they're going to do it because, well, this movie didn't get very good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and also I don't think it got a good enough money back from the ticket sale. I think it was like $120 million movie, and it only made like $200 million. I don't know exactly, but it is like up in the air. That's the point if they're gonna make a sequel. Hopefully they will make a sequel. I don't know. I mean, I really enjoyed it, but I don't know if they're gonna do that or not. It really will depend on what they want to do with it. I think they're talking about doing it in the Cold War. I don't know what that's gonna mean. Does that mean like the setting of modern day, or does that mean like the past? I don't know. Confusing. But one of the more annoying things about this movie is the runtime. It is 1 hour and 55 minutes, but 15 minutes of that is just the credits, which is ridiculous because there are other movies out there that have long credits like that. I mean, I can understand credits being like 10 minutes long maybe, even though that's ridiculous, but this movie has literally 15 minutes of credits. it ends at 1 hour and 40 minutes officially, but the rest of the movie, that 15 minutes that makes it 1 hour and 55 minutes, is just the credits. It's like, come on, seriously, why? That's 15 minutes of credits. Ugh, it's so ridiculous. It's like, that's why I stopped at that point, because I have no reason to watch the rest of it. There's no post-credits or anything like that. I mean, yeah, it's fun to watch the credits, but seriously? That's 15 minutes. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say about Assassin's Creed. Just my thoughts on it. Things I really enjoyed about it. It's a very good movie. It's really wonderful. It's really amazing. They're going to make a movie based off the Assassin's Creed games. You know, even though it is the original story, I like that a lot. I like the fact that they didn't just adapt it plain, because sometimes that doesn't go so well. But, you know, the fact that they'd had an original story, original character, was very nice. It was a very cool idea, and I liked it a lot. So I'm going to leave this movie with a 9 out of 10, which actually I think is really good. Again, I'm not going to get 100% because there are some issues I just talked about that it deserves to get that score, because it's not perfect. There were things I wasn't the biggest fan of. I think that the animus was really cool, but it was not the game, and that's like something I'm like, a little different than I'm used to, but you know, I think it's okay, and it's not the best thing they could have come up with, but it was just like it was different. And then obviously the runtime. I mean, seriously, why? But still, I did enjoy it, and it was very good. It's way better than what it got on Rotten Tomatoes. So that does it for this episode I reviewed. As for more episodes in this series, I just made a video where I'm going to be going on hiatus for a while, because YouTube is making me sick. It's physically making me exhausted, and it's just like I'm not in the right mindset. So this will be the last episode for a while. I don't know when I'm going to come back to this show. I don't know. I just need a break for a while. So it's going to mess up my whole review schedule about what I'm doing, but that's okay. I never take a break from this show, but I think I need to. I think I need to do that. I'm just really tired of it. So I explain more about it in the video that I just put up today about what is going on. So for now, this is going to be the last episode. I'm not going to do an outro, but thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you understand what's going on with the channel. Make sure if you haven't already to check out the video that I just released that talks about what's going on. And I'll hopefully be back eventually with another episode, but I don't know. Alright, bye-bye.